The sun had just dipped behind the hills when Deolira stepped outside to check her mailbox. She didn't expect much. Bills, maybe a supermarket flyer. At her age, mail rarely brought anything new, but there it was. One single envelope, yellowed at the edges, brittle, with the musty scent of something forgotten. The stamp bore the face of President Carter, still crisp. The postmark said, July 14th, 1978. She froze. Her fingers trembled as she flipped it over. No return address. Just her name. Not her full name. Just D. No one had called her that in decades. She took it inside, placed it gently on the kitchen table, and sat in silence. It couldn't be real. It had to be some mistake, some prank, maybe. But the handwriting was unmistakable. Familiar, old, but familiar. She ran her fingers along the flap and opened it slowly. Inside, a single piece of paper. 6 words. I never stopped waiting for you. Nothing more, no signature, no explanation. Just those 6 words, like a ghost whispering through time. That night, she didn't sleep. She sat in her armchair, the letter in her lap, the music box on the mantel ticking softly, and memories she'd buried long ago began rising. His name was Matthew Bell. He was 22 when she met him. She was 17. The summer of 1978. He wore boots too big for his feet and had a laugh that turned heads. He worked at the town's train station, repairing tracks and helping load freight. They met when she dropped her bag and he helped her pick up her groceries. Classic, almost cliché, but something real sparked. She remembered the bench under the elm tree, the promises whispered in the dark, the way he said, "Just wait for me. I'll write to you." But he never did, and she never told anyone, not even when she got the scholarship and left town. She assumed he forgot her, or worse. The morning after the letter arrived, Deolira did something she hadn't done in decades. She went up to the attic. She hadn't dared open that box in 40 years. The one with the photos, the dried-out flowers, and the train ticket she never used. She found it. Everything was still there. A photograph of them at the county fair. A pressed daisy between notebook pages. And the letter she had written to him, but never mailed. She read it now, out loud, her voice breaking. If you meant what you said, wait for me. I'll be back by August. But she hadn't gone back. The next day, she walked to the old post office. The clerk was young, probably born after 1978. But Deolira laid the envelope on the counter like it was a sacred object. Is it possible for a letter to arrive 45 years late? She asked. The clerk looked puzzled. Then he turned the envelope in his hands. This isn't one of ours. We haven't used this style since the 80s. He paused, then said, "Wait here." He returned with an elderly man with silver glasses. "Ma'am, I remember this handwriting. I worked sorting mail back then." This was from a man named Matt Bell. He mailed this letter just before he left town. "Left town?" she asked. The man nodded. "He was drafted. Vietnam. Came back, but not the same. Quiet, reclusive. I think he moved into the hills. Lived out near Hollow Creek, alone." Deolira felt her chest tighten. "Is he still?" The man hesitated. No one's seen him in years. She rented a car the next morning, followed the roads she hadn't driven since high school. Everything had changed, and nothing had. Hollow Creek was still just a dirt path through pine trees. At the end of it, a small wooden cabin, faded blue paint, curtains drawn, no mailbox. She knocked. Nothing. She tried the door, unlocked. Inside, the scent of old books, tobacco, and time. Dust lay thick on the furniture, but the place was tidy. A fire pit in the corner, a kettle on the stove, a desk near the window with dozens of letters stacked neatly. Never sent. She reached for the top letter. It was addressed to D. She sat at the desk and read. Letter after letter, year after year. 1981. I hope you're happy at college. I think about you when the wind picks up. Remember that day by the lake? 1983. They told me I wasn't right in the head, but I know what we had was real. 1985. I saw you once, I think, walking by the florist. You didn't see me. Or maybe you did. 1992. I finally built the swing. It's not the same without you, but sometimes I sit there, waiting. 45 years of waiting, writing, hoping. She cried for hours. One letter was dated the day before he died. D. If this never reaches you, I understand. Maybe you moved on. Maybe you forgot. But I never stopped waiting. Every day I wondered if you'd walk through the trees, call my name, and sit beside me like nothing changed. If someone ever reads this, know that you were the only thing I ever wanted to keep. There was no signature, just a pressed daisy taped to the bottom of the page. Behind the cabin, she found it. The swing, hung between two maple trees, worn by time, still swaying lightly in the breeze. She sat down. It groaned beneath her weight, but held. She closed her eyes, listened, and in the stillness of the forest, she heard it. Not a voice, not a whisper, but a presence. As if the wind itself remembered. She stayed a few days, cleaned the cabin, cooked in his kitchen, read every letter again. When she left, she took one thing: the swing's rope, coiled gently in her bag. Back home, she hung it by her back porch, not to sit on, but to remember. And sometimes, when the breeze is just right and the sky turns soft with the colors of old dreams, she swears she hears someone calling, "D." The end.